All right, so Dave Gettleman did trade down twice for the first time in his career as a general manager, and I love the trade down from 11 to 20. Once they got leapfrogged for Devontae Smith by the Eagles, who jumped from 12 to 10, their next receiver was Kadarius Toney. They got him 9 spots later, and they picked up more stuff. They got a first-round pick next year from the Chicago Bears to go down to 20 and get the guy that, if they had to put a name on the card at 12, very well may have been the name they put on the card, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, it's impressive. I mean, the Giants, great offseason. You know, yeah, okay, maybe overpaid a little bit. We know for Kenny Golladay, but still got players they needed to address issues on their team. And Kadarius Toney, you missed Devontae Smith. Okay, all right, we'll take this freak of nature that's very Tyreek Hill-ish. And we heard Urban Meyer yesterday, how badly he wanted Kadarius Toney. So it was a great job by Gettleman. Not only that move right there to still, address the same position. The offense is dangerous, but that is huge, the first-round pick for next year. And a year where we know all GMs and everybody felt more comfortable picking as compared to this year. And then even the second round to do business with the Patriots and trade down, and then again address what I think they were worried about and what they needed to address, which was an edge defender, and get Azeez Ojulari from Georgia, a perfect Giants, New England outside linebacker, physical type of guy. So I'm a big fan. Gettleman, I think, has been thrown under the bus a little too much here in New York. I think for the most part he's done a pretty damn good job. And I think that's continued here through the offseason. I mean, I like the Giants draft.
So much of it, though, rests on quarterback Daniel Jones,
It
top
does.
10 pick a couple of years ago. And we see these moves. They are eliminating systematically any and all excuses
That's it.
that Daniel Jones could have. And they want him to have that Josh Allen type of a jump this year.
Yes.
Joe Judge was on the Michael Kay show on ESPN Radio yesterday talking about Daniel Jones and how injuries may be one of the reasons why he has yet to become a short-list franchise quarterback. Here's Judge from yesterday.
Look, Daniel's the last guy that's going to use anything as an excuse. What I would say about the injury last year is, look, it was much more serious than maybe people thought on the outside. I'd say probably 90% of the players in the league who would have had that injury, including quarterbacks, would have been on IR for the remainder of the year. That's just the reality of it. It was much more severe than, maybe he allowed people to know or the information that was put out there. And we're going to protect our players by not disclosing everything about their injuries, to be honest with you. But, he fought through a lot of things. He earned a lot of people's respect through what it was. He's a guy that you have a lot of confidence in just because of the way you see him work on a daily basis.
You got to tread lightly when you talk about things like that. The last thing that the Giants need is the NFL to go back and start comparing the details and specifics of the injury reports to other records that the team may have. It happened when Ben Roethlisberger had his elbow injury week 2 of 2019, and he was done for the year, and he hadn't been on the injury report. The Steelers got fined for that. And it's not a huge fine, but it's just an issue that you don't want, you don't need. It's an unforced error to go into that minefield. And he was kind of on the fringes of that minefield by talking about what Daniel Jones played through, what he didn't play through. Look, guys play through all kinds of stuff. And anytime they say it's not an excuse and then they give you the excuse, it's still an excuse. Just because they use the preface, it's not an excuse, or I don't want to make excuses, then don't say it at all.
Yeah.
If you don't want to make excuses, don't make excuses. Saying I don't want to make excuses doesn't make the excuse that you follow it with not an excuse.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I don't think it's being used to do excuses. I think it's more to shed the light, like Joe Judge in this situation, on the human being. He's trying to let everybody know, hey, he's really respected in our locker room because of these things. The public doesn't know this. And I think he's trying to get the public to hey, respect this guy. There's a little more to him than maybe you realize. I do think there's great respect within that organization for Daniel Jones. One, they believe in him, like Joe Judge said, the work ethic, all of those type of things. He's tough as hell. I mean, he's tough it's a little bit of a gift and a curse. It's what's caused these problems we're watching right here and all of that. He'll stand in the pocket like the Statue of Liberty in the middle of the Hudson River with people all around him and not move or not do anything. and he takes too many big hits. I mean, look at this. It's been like this for 2 years now, and that's where he's got to adjust his game, not only for himself so his career lasts, but two, the fumbling problem is real. And those are two things, I mean, or one thing he's really got to fix about his football game. And back to your original point, I think that's like the point here more than anything. Man, they're going to know if Daniel Jones is the quarterback of the future after this year. Like you said, there's no excuse. The pressure has now been swung in the Giants organization to yes, Daniel Jones and Jason Garrett. And they're going to have to formulate something here that makes this offense, fun and explosive and puts up yards and points. There's too much talent. There's too many big names now. There's too much money thrown out there to some of these guys. There's going to be a spotlight on this offense and how it performs. And we'll see. Hopefully that means good things for Big Blue, Daniel Jones, and all Giants fans.
One of the first points you made when we started working together 4 years ago that caused me to think, you know what, I may be wrong about this guy. He may know a thing or two about the game, is when you said, you're just going to let that one go, when you said that Eli Manning was screwed up because the blocking was so bad, the clock in his head was accelerating, and
right.
at times he was throwing the ball when he didn't have to.
Right.
Because he was hyper aware
yes.
of the fact that the walls were going to close in.
Right.
And I see Daniel Jones, who hasn't adjusted at all.
No.
His clock.
No.
And we thought we would see that last year.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's job number one for Jason Garrett, getting this guy to make his read faster, get rid of the football more quickly, because when you hold on to it, you get hit. The more you get hit, the more you get hurt. And then we got to go with the backup, whoever the backup is this year. And the more you get hit when the ball's in your hand, the more likely the ball's going to be bouncing around on the turf, and the other team's going to recover it, and they're going to get a cheap 7 or 3 points, and it's going to make it even harder for us to win the game. So there are multiple reasons why they have to accelerate the clock in Daniel Jones' head.
Yeah, there definitely is. And, I think he's a good kid. He's trying to, take the coaching. Hey, I'm going through the reads. That's what happens to a lot of these guys a lot of the times, added to the fact that, he spent his early part of his career probably witnessing Eli Manning and those things, and probably had the coaches telling him, like, hey, sit in the pocket here. We would have liked Eli to sit in the pocket here and make this throw. So that's probably in his mind a little bit too. But it is, Mike, you're right. That's the next phase. It's got to change this year. He can't be putting them in bad situations and taking sacks to make it 2nd and 17 or fumbling the ball and doing those type of things. And added to that, we know he's a pretty damn good athlete. I know he tripped and fell, but damn, he ran 80 yards before that. He's had a lot of other damn good runs too. So it's about, he needs to add, it's a little like we talked about with Kellen Mond in the draft, right? He needs to add a little bit more of a backyard element to his game. It can't always be in the pocket. You don't have the 2007 Patriots offensive line. It's got to be 1, 2, 3 real quick. Start looking around. Get the hell out of there. Throw the ball away. Do something. But it is the biggest issue with his game. You're spot on about that.
You either have it or you don't, or you have the ability to acquire it. This is the year that we find out whether or not he has the ability to acquire it. And if he doesn't, maybe Aaron Rodgers will indeed be the quarterback of the Giants next year, although I think that's unlikely. Dave Gettleman.
That would be awesome. That would be so awesome.
For everything. Would you authorize Rodgers to change the number 11?
Oh, what? I'd be like, screw you, Dad. You better let him have the jersey. Screw you. He's Aaron Rodgers. He wants to wear 11. The hell with it. Well, we'll retire it again after he's done wearing it.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.